So today we're going to be talking a little bit about theft, scams, being bamboozled by somebody. In the real estate arena, it is possible. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel, Dream Home in Arizona. My name is Kamya Newcombs. Today I want to get a little bit into the possibility of being scammed. It happens. It's actually on the rise. And let me tell you how they do it. First of all, if you have a piece of property, it could be with a home on it, without a home on it, vacant land, and you don't live in the state and it's sitting vacant, especially vacant land. It's really important to know that all of your information, when you record the deed, when you purchased it, it's on a public database so the public can see it. If you know what you're looking for, of course. Now, like if I go in, I can take a look. I can see who owned it, when they bought it, how much they paid for it, what was the mortgage, yada, yada, yada. So can the public. Why that's not so good in some cases is because some people in the public aren't very trustworthy. So there was a situation that recently happened. Not to me, but I was kind of a part of the situation. I'm hoping I was part of the solution. I'll get back to you on that one. But for an example, there was a gentleman that reached out to me. He wanted to sell some vacant land that he had down south towards Benson. Okay, so he gave me his name. I checked it out. It was the same name that was on the tax records. He gave me his address. He gave me his phone number. It all checked out. His name, his address, his phone number, where he was calling. Everything. Everything was there. So what happened was I put it on the market, put a sign in the yard. It was a vacant lot. All the information checked out 110%. I've been doing this a while. I've done it before. I've dealt with many sellers that are not in the area. So everything else checked out. Then I get a call. I got a call from someone wanting to know who was selling it, like the name of the seller. And I told him, of course, I can't give you that information. Then he told me he was the owner of that vacant lot. What? Like, what? Blew my mind. So now I have a situation where I have somebody that I've talked to. I've literally talked to him on the phone. He has sent me information. He has signed documents. We've been back and forth for about a week before I had it listed. I had someone supposedly that was the seller. Now I have this other guy, this other gentleman saying he's the owner of the vacant lot. So what do? Naturally, I pulled it off the market. Let's get it pulled off. Let's figure this out. So what it came down to was the guy that called me to have it listed stole the identity of the actual person that was the owner, the actual owner. So he just took his name, had an ID made up with his fake name on it, sent it over, put it on the market. See, where the problem lies wasn't necessarily when I listed it. It would have been when I sold it. Thankfully, I hadn't even gotten an offer yet, but it was close because I actually had someone that was writing one up and they were pretty surprised when I took it off the market after a couple of days. But the fact of the matter was, if this wasn't caught, all the paperwork would have been done. The bad person, the scammer, would have signed. They would have sent the check to the scammer for the proceeds of selling said vacant lot. And the actual owner wouldn't even been any wiser. Nobody would have known. So of course, I took it off the market. I got the information from the actual owner, which essentially was the same information I got from the scamming owner. They went back and forth. I gave the actual owner the information from the scanner. And, it's funny because the guy that was trying to scam me said, why did you take it off the market? And I told him, well, because I don't even know who you are yet. So long story short, I was able to cut that a little bit short. Thank God we didn't have it under contract. Thank goodness it wasn't a buyer that was involved. We were able to kind of nip it in the bud, but it does happen. So I decided maybe we should make a video to kind of educate people what you should do to protect your assets if you're not in the area that you own that vacant property. Because once I really did some digging, I found out that this is actually something that's pretty much on the rise. I mean, when I was talking to the authorities, they weren't surprised at all. They said this has actually happened quite a bit. So a couple things to protect yourself if you own vacant property, not just vacant land, but if you have a home on it and nobody's living there, let's say you inherited something, don't make it so easy that someone can go in and look at those public records and just copy your name. See, that was the problem. He copied the name. Even the phone number area code was in the state that the actual owner was in. So everything lined up, his email address, everything. So don't make it so easy. What I would suggest is put it under a trust. Put it under a revocable trust, but don't put your name on it. Don't say like John Smith Trust, LLC, whatever. Don't just say like maybe the address, 123 Main Street, revocable trust. That's just for that piece of property. You can get an LLC just for that property. There's a lot of things that you can do. And if you want to know more, definitely reach out to me. My number's right here below. But it is possible that you could be a victim of this type of scam and not even know it. It was a close one, guys, but luckily we took care of it. We handled it, took it off the market right away. I think I aged like 10 years that day, but we were able to get it taken care of. But most importantly, you have got to protect yourself, because on my end, and even the title company, when I had them run the pre-listing package, everything was normal. Everything was right on. But if they had it under like a trust that didn't have their name on it, we would have had to dig deeper. So what is your name? He couldn't just make it up. And criminals aren't going to work that hard to look it up. They could easily just find another property. So don't be a victim. Be the hero, and give me a call if you have any questions about this. And of course, if you're actually looking to buy or sell real estate in the Southern Arizona area, give me a call. I'm glad to help. If you're paying for a place to live, you're buying a house. You're either buying one for yourself or you're buying one for your landlord. So I'll catch you on the flip. Hope you guys have a good one.